Hi everybody, welcome to my final presentation for PE556, I believe the class is. This is our final event project and presentation, and just want to walk you through my slides. So you can download the attachment and then follow along with me while I present and go into a little bit more detail about these things. So on this first page, you can see that the Pac West Home Run Derby and All-Star Game is my event that I've planned. So the Pac West is a conference that actually Azusa Pacific is in for athletics. It's a D2 conference here on the West Coast, featuring schools from Hawaii, California, and even into Utah. So the event is going to be a home run derby and all-star game for the best players in the league. That'll happen at the end of the year. So if you want to turn the page to the next slide and go to the main concept. So the point of this event is to celebrate the top players in the Pac West and give them professional exposure. This is designed to be a fun event for all players in the conference, for all the schools involved, and a useful event for Major League Baseball in terms of building a partnership and getting exposure. How the event is going to go is it'll start by bringing in all the players from their schools on an off weekend at the end of the season and having an awards luncheon where they're able to give awards to the All-Stars for being there, and also the Home Run Derby participants and the Coach of the Year, things like that. And then they'll go and they'll have an Home Run Derby in the afternoon, and then finally end with the All-Star Game. So the Home Run Derby is going to be for charity. It's going to be partnered with the MLB Urban Youth Academy here in Compton, California, which is a pretty local spot for the Pac West Conference and a great baseball spot. So that's the point. If you want to turn with me to the next page and go to feasibility. The feasibility for this event is huge. I think this could realistically absolutely happen. It would take good leadership from the conference and a solid partnership with MLB and the facility, but if those things are in place, this could be a really solid event, not only in an inaugural year, but for years to come. So I think it's feasible because there's big advantages for each party. As you can see here on the slide, just the different groups of people that will really benefit from this. So the first people that will get a big advantage are the players. The players are going to get tremendous exposure in front of Major League Baseball teams. With the partnership that we're going to have with MLB and with all the teams, there will be scouts in attendance to watch the best talent. Everyone who has a professional potential will be there. So the players are going to benefit from this. They're also going to have a great time. It's a way to honor them and reward the best players in the conference. So there's a lot to gain and a lot of motivation for players with this event. It's great for fans. It's great for parents. It's great for college baseball to have a fun event like this that helps out a charity and that can bring people together to build that sense of community around this baseball game. It's going to be great. The MLB has some big advantages. They get to have one event where they're partnering with college baseball, which is a partnership that they want to increase, and they get to see the best talent perform right in front of them. It'll all happen in one game right there. They can have the conversations. They can watch players. It can all happen right there. They don't have to travel as much. So that'll really serve the MLB teams involved. There's also big advantages for sponsors. We're going to try to have big sponsorships, not only with MLB and the Urban Youth Academy and their charity, but also we want to work with uniform providers. We want to work with Nike. We want to work with Pacific Athletic Wear to design custom equipment and gear for this event to make it look great, to give the guys real quality stuff. We want to work with Trinity Bats to sponsor the Home Run Derby, a bat company local to California that loves partnering with both college baseball and professional baseball. There's just great opportunity for sponsors to happen. There's other organizations that would be interested in this in terms of local restaurants. We're going to talk to a hotel and have Marriott be one of our sponsors for the event. And then we also want to have schools are going to benefit from this. And that's why this is feasible, again, because there's so many advantages to this event. The schools are going to benefit because they get increased exposure. They're able to have an event where they can advertise to future recruits and people that might want to join. And there's not really much of a cost to the schools based on the way the budget breaks down for the event. Finally, there's a huge advantage for the conference. This promotes the conference. This promotes partnerships the conference has and just puts the conference in an excellent light in terms of working with a charity and things like that. So I believe it's feasible because of the advantages that exist for each party. That will be the motivator to cause everybody to want to be involved with this. So you can turn with me now to the next page, which is our SWOT analysis. So basically the strengths, like I just talked about, is some big ones with the feasibility. I think those go hand in hand. But also there's going to be coaches and players taking initiative to make this happen. This is a tremendous opportunity for these baseball players and these coaches and their programs to be showcased and put on the next level. So there's going to be great leadership from the lower level to make this happen. And also from the conference. I know that the conference is excited about doing some sort of event. They want to expand. They want to grow. Baseball is one of the strongest sports in the conference. And to put it on a more national level like this would be a great idea. There are some weaknesses, though. We want to talk about weaknesses. Just to understand them. So one is there's going to be a lack of conference funding for this. It's not like there's just a surplus of budget money sitting for this to happen. And there's a concern with a perceived lack of respect for Division II baseball, which is a misunderstanding because this game is only going to feature the top players, which the top players in the Pac-West Conference are all capable of being entertained as potential professional baseball players. So some opportunities for this is to enhance the partnerships. Again, that's one of the strengths, that's a feasibility, but through this event there will be incredibly enhanced partnerships between the MLB, the college institutions, the conference, the sponsors. There's some really good relational overlap where everybody can benefit. Finally, we need to talk about threats, and there's a few of them, but the biggest one is NCAA regulations. Anytime you do some sort of NCAA large event or some new thing, there's always many NCAA rules that you have to work around, that you have to overcome, that you have to make sure you abide by. So, just making sure that the NCAA rules and regulations don't end this before it gets started. That's a big threat that needs addressed right away. So good to be aware of it. Turn with me to the next slide. We're going to talk budget real quick. So the budget's real simple. It's real straightforward. No need to get overly complicated with it. We believe that the whole event can be run for about $25,000, and we tried to even that out to where the revenue and the expenses are both about $25,000. So these are the estimated largest expense categories for it and largest revenue categories. So the goal is to bring in about 10 grand through concessions and ticket sales. So concessions, tickets will be like $10 a person. We expect, 500, 600, 700 fans to be in attendance at an event like this. So then those fans will also buy concession food and buy some merchandise from our sponsors. We also then want to raise 10 grand in sponsorship money. It's going to come from our major sponsors, those who want to give over $1,000, but then also the smaller sponsors at a local level and even family level. We believe that that's definitely a realistic number and figure to get. And finally, we do know that the conference, if those other pieces are there, would be able to contribute about $5,000 to the event. Excuse me. For expenses, we need to understand that there's stadium costs to set this up correctly. So not only do we want the field to look great, but it has to be decked out in sponsorship and promotional visuals, media, and material. So that's a big cost there. That leaks into the operations and promotions budget to make sure that the whole event runs smoothly. And we want to have quality staff there to put this on from beginning to end, so we want to make sure they're compensated. Finally, there's a team travel expense because we don't want to penalize the schools in Hawaii or in Northern California for having to travel down. So there will be a small travel budget allotted for the players that make the game from the schools that are far away. Turn with me to the next slide. These will go a little bit faster. For personnel, we have two categories. We have our staff and we have volunteers. So to run the event, the goal is to have 10 to 15 staff, which basically will come from stadium operations people, conference administration, and institution staff in terms of their media SID departments. Those are going to be the main paid members. So we're going to need, an event manager to oversee this project. We're going to need security. We're going to need field crew, umpires, a media team, public relations, a concessions manager. These big positions that are in charge of overseeing a large area of operations are where we want to support staff with finances. Then also we're going to have volunteers to run the rest, to do some security work and also to do concession stands. And we believe that the local teams of the Pac-West Conference can have some of their younger players volunteer to work the concession stand and work security for this event. That'll be good for their program, for those guys to be around the event, and if they work, they'll get a small kickback from concession sales. If you look on the next page, we have our vendors. It's important, like I talked about a little bit already, our vendors and our sponsors overlap. So that's why there's a good benefit for them to be sponsors, because they can also be vendors. So we're going to have our concession stand, which is in-house, run by the conference, run by the event to do food. And then outside of that, we're going to do our apparel and equipment with Nike and Pacific Athletic Wear to do real quality custom gear, to outfit the players and to make it a real quality event. For our bats for the Home Run Derby, the guys are going to swing Trinity bats and get to take one home as the award for the Home Run Derby, and just as a thank you for being a part of the Pac West Conference, and a congratulations for having a great year. We might have some other minor vendors that are interested in being there, or even major vendors. We just don't know who that's going to be yet at this point. For an event timeline, if you turn with me to the next page, we have a real clear here, just event preparation of what to do before the event and then the day of the event. So a couple things to highlight. You can read this on your own. It's pretty straightforward, but just want to be proactive 6 months in advance to get the ball rolling. Couple months before, securing the vendors and sponsors, confirming the all-star participants as you get closer, hiring and train the paid staff and communicate with that, and then finally the day of. That's when it's all going to happen. So the event will take place starting at 11 a.m. where everybody checks in. There'll be a great awards luncheon. And then from there, everyone will go to the field. We'll do the Home Run Derby at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Fun for charity. It'll be fun out there. And then we'll have the All-Star Game in the evening, ending the day with an awards presentation. You can turn with me to the next slide, which is just real quick, shows our check-in, transportation, and parking. Like I said, the check-in will happen at the awards lunch. Transportation for the weekend, they're in that transportation and travel budget. Teams will actually get a rental car or van to be able to drive the coach and the players around. The coaches will be responsible. As far as parking, there's a good lot right near the facility for the players, for staff, for umpires, those kinds of people to park right close. And then on the campus of El Cerrito College, which is right next to the Urban Youth Academy where the event will be held, there's good parking for fans to park there as well. Like I said, just finishing with sponsorships, you can go to this last slide. We're going to have Major League Baseball, Trinity, Marriott, Nike, Pacific Athletic Wear, and then the schools, parents, and local businesses as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this presentation. Real excited about the event possibility. Think it's feasible, and it could be a real dynamic presentation for the Pac West Conference. So thank you guys for watching this. Hope you had a great class. I know I did, and hope you guys have a great rest of your summer. Thanks.